Okay, in the IO group for Benina, there was a question about scanning fabrics to use in the Quilter program, but you also might want to use scanned in fabrics for applique or even as a background for your digitizing. So I'm going to cover all those subjects it'll probably be a series of videos, and we'll start with the Quilter program option. So for those of you who have not used the Quilter program before, you access it from your normal workspace it has to be Designer Plus. You don't have it in the creator level. So in your toolboxes there is a toolbox called Applications, and you have two applications there, Cross Stitch and Quilter. So just double click on Quilter. Just left click on Quilter and it will open the program. Now you can't see it because it is actually a standalone program that opens up, but it will be down here in your taskbar, or if you minimize your Designer Plus, it'll be behind that. So just either click on the Quilter program in your taskbar or minimize your Designer Plus, and your Quilter program will be showing here. Now, as I said, it's a standalone program and it hasn't changed for many versions. It was added to the software a long time ago, and so it's never been updated. It is still quite useful if you don't have any other option for designing quilts, and if you only design quilts occasionally, then and you don't want to spend on another program, then this one will do a lot of things for you. But one of the things it does is allow you to put in your quilt design, put specific fabrics into your blocks. So if I come over here, I can look at this. I won't go into how to lay out the quilt, but this is the standard layout, and you can change the block sizes and how many blocks and rows and all that sort of thing. But then you can add colours and fabrics to your quilt. So you can go to the fabrics, and they do have a lot of fabrics in here that you can choose from. You just open up each of the collections and you choose a fabric by left clicking on it, and it will appear up here. And once you've chosen it, you can then add it to any of your blocks, like so. Now, these fabrics have been in here for years, and you may not even be able to get these fabrics anymore. So you may have a fabric that's not listed as well. So you might want to make your own collection of fabrics. If you want to be able to create a picture of your quilt, or get some idea of what your quilt's going to look like, whether the fabric is going to work with the quilt, etc. So to do that, I'll just undo both of those and come back here. In your fabrics, I'll just close that up again. You have all these collections, as I said, but you can create your own collection. Now, there's no collection in here where you can add to the list of fabrics. You need to create your own collection, and to do that you come up to File, Fabric Manager, Manage Fabrics, and you'll get a dialog, and this is the manager for those fabrics, and here you can see all those collections that are listed over here. To add your own collection, you need to right click on this left hand area where the index is, not on top of any of the other collections in the blank space, and it'll come up with New Library. Just left click on that and give your library a name. It will have a $sign, and so every fabric you add will have a $sign next to it to indicate that it's one you have added. So I'm just going to call my collection Carol and go OK. And now you'll see up the top here that I have a collection called Carol. If I click on it, there's nothing in there. You can, inside that, create your own folders. So up here you've got Create New Category. You can left click on that and name that folder. So I'm going to name one called Checks. So So I can put all my checked fabrics in there, and we can close that now, or we can import or scan. So you can actually scan your fabric straight into here. So I need to open that category up so that I'm inside that folder, and I can either import. So if I click on import, it will allow me to browse to somewhere in my computer where I might have saved a fabric. Or you can actually, with some of the fabric companies, if you go to their website, they have little swatches that you can download images of, and you can download those, and you may have saved them somewhere in your computer. You would select it and then go import, and it would import it into your actual fabric library. I'm going to cancel out of that because I haven't saved an image and I haven't downloaded an image for this exercise, but they are some of the options you've got. If you have your fabric and you want to scan it, you need to put it in your scanner. Now, you could press it. I recommend pressing it at the very least. You can press it onto some sort of stabilizer so that you get a really nice flat piece of fabric, but that requires cutting it sometimes, or you've put stabilizer on the back of a piece of fabric you don't want to. So it's up to you. You will get it more, it will be easier to handle if it's got some sort of backing on it and it can stay nice and flat and squared off. But I'll show you what to do if it's not as neat as it could be later in the series. So you'll see, because I have not pressed mine, I've just laid the fabric in there, and I've not been particularly careful because it was a huge piece of fabric, and I've just got it into the flatbed scanner as best I can. So I am just going to scan it. And so I click on scan, and it says new scanner, and it indicates my scanner up here, and I can change if I have a different scanner. So it's detected my scanner. If it doesn't detect your scanner, it may be that your scanner is not compatible with software, or it may also be that you haven't actually added the scanner to your software. Sometimes it picks it up automatically, sometimes not. So I'll go into how to do that later. But for now, I just want to go through the process. So we want to do photo because we want a coloured scan, and we want it as detailed as possible. So, you know, you've got documents. Basically, you either have document or a photo. Document would be black and white. So it's a flatbed scanner. I'm not worried about the paper size, that's blanked out anyway. The colour format, we want colour, and we want a JPEG file. Now, the resolution. It recommends that you scan at 72 dots per inch. That is a very low resolution and will result in a very small file size, but it can also result in a blurred image of your fabric, depending on the print and the style of the fabric. To keep the file size small, it's probably best to go as low as you can. My scanner will not go below 100%, so I can't go any lower than that. And I've tried typing in 72 dots per inch, and it makes no difference. It won't recognize it. It only gives me these options. So I'm going to go down to 100 dots per inch, which is the lowest, because I'm trying to keep the file size small. It's going to scan the full bed because I filled the full bed with the fabric. If your fabric piece is smaller than the bed of your scanner, that's okay. There's another process we can sort out afterwards. So in this case, mine's going to scan the full bed. I'm just going to leave the default brightness and contrast. Now I press the button scan, and it's acquiring the image. So just bear with me while it does that. Now I know quick checks and stripes are difficult to work with. You need to get them straight when you're cutting them, and you also should get them straight when you're doing this. But as you can see, I just threw my fabric in there. This will give you enough of an idea of how this works. Now I don't actually like using this process because this is the window that opens up. What happens is you select an area of this scan that you can tile, because your block might be bigger than the scan even. In order for the file size to stay small, you make your scans as small as possible, but also you want a small area that will tile, and that will give you a small file size to put in the library, so that you can put lots in the library if you want to. But the tiling process means that you have to select an area that's going to butt up to the next area and give you the same image as a whole piece of fabric. It's not always possible. With this check pattern, there is a repeat that's very small, so it is possible with a small repeat. But if your repeat is too big to even fit on your scanner, which some florals on the width of the fabric are going to be like, there's no way you're going to get a perfect rendition of the fabric. Okay, having said all of that, we're going to get this as good as we can. You have some options in here to help you get your small tile. You have a viewing screen here, which you can put at 1:1, which will match over here. You can zoom in and you can zoom out. You can rotate your image, but only in 90-degree intervals. So if you put your fabric in sideways by mistake, you can rotate it 90 degrees and you'll get it facing the right way, or you can rotate it back. Then you've got this I don't know why that said show or hide toolbar, because you've got this select button. So if you click on this select button, you can then select an area. Now I can't see a full repeat here because of the zoom I'm at. So I need to zoom out so I can see a full repeat. And you can see you're working with a small area. Even if you expand this window, this does not increase in size. A little bit. No, it doesn't change. So to get, you've only got like a plus or minus zoom. If I plus in, I can't get a full repeat. So I'm limited to this small size here to be able to select my area. But you click on your select and then you select an area. So I'm going to try and get roughly one repeat here, but because it's all crooked, it won't be a perfect repeat. So I'm using the dark line at the top, so I stop just above, I start above the dark line at the top and I'm stopping just above the dark line at the bottom, and I'm going across from the dark line on the left and stop just before the dark line on the right. Okay, and as you can see, they're crooked and the tiling doesn't actually look perfect because my swatch was crooked. So that's why it's important to get it straight in the scanner, particularly if you're just going to use this dialog box. When you've done your selection, if you got it wrong, you can actually move the selection. So I can click on that move one, and then you have to bring your cursor down. It will disappear when you're over the selection, which is really weird. That's another reason I don't like this all that well, because you can see it's moving on here, but I can't really see it moving on the screen. Now I can just, but it's, maybe if it's really hard. Your cursor disappears and you don't know where you are. So you can see I have moved my selection somehow, and which has changed this here. Now I've got it moving. You might be able to see that dotted line just moving around. So if I put it here, you can see that I've got that cross in the middle of the selection. So it's nothing like the nowhere near as good as my first selection as far as making the fabric look something like it should be. But they're your options. Then once you're happy with that, and I'm just going to leave it like that for now, you save it. So you save as, and I want to save it in that checks folder, so I'll double click on that to open it and give it a name. So I'll call it blue and save. And there it is in the library. So you can rename that, you can delete it, you can add another one by importing or scanning into that same library. You can tile, but you need the image selected, so I'll close that. So if I select that and then go tile, you'll go back to this screen so you can fix your tile or whatever. I'll cancel that. You can just tile to see what it looks like, or you can close this. So I'm just going to close it now. Now if I look over here in my checks and I click on the checks to expand it out, there it is. If I use my eyedropper to select it, it will appear up here, and you can see this is my second selection, which wasn't so good, but nevertheless. And then you can add it to your quilt. Now, you know, if whatever you've done is good enough for how you want to use it, and you can do it this quick and dirty way, and you get a tiled image. Let's just turn the grid off because that's throwing us. Okay, if you can get an image that gives you the general idea of what your quilt's going to look like, and that's all you need, then this is the quick way to do it. But there is a better way, and that's by getting your fabric scanned through the Corel Photo Paint, which comes with your software. So in the next video I'll show you how to do that. These fabrics are also the fabrics used when you choose a fabric for applique. So this fabric will now be available if you want to use it as an applique fabric. Okay, I think that gives you the general idea here, and I will start a new video for the Corel Photo Paint adjustment, because those of you who don't want to go into all that detail can have got enough information here. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below, like, subscribe, and all those things. Please read the description below because it has links to other learning opportunities for you, and happy digitizing.